this.
Should be coming up here in just a minute.
All right, cool, man. Cool. John, again, I always appreciate doing this, buddy, Ray.
Yeah, no problem. Hey guys, happy Monday night, man. We are live. Looks like we got this thing working this time. We're gonna have to re-interview Carson after that debacle I had a couple weeks ago. So glad everyone's able to join us. We got Ron Dorsey here with us tonight, and then obviously Chad Shingleton. Let a couple folks, I should say, jump in the stream here, and we'll get this thing kicked off in just a minute. So looks like we got them climbing up. So all right, well, again, welcome everybody. Appreciate everybody jumping in and joining us tonight. It's been a kind of an odd one with the weather lately, huh, boys?
Yeah.
It's, the cancel tournaments, and then nor'easters coming up, and
I mean, it was just bad.
Weather has not been our friend.
No, I mean
this weekend. It's been a tough year. Yeah, it's been a tough year this year, all around. I mean, there's been some events moved, and Wednesdays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays it seems to be nice, and then every other day it's blowing 30 knots. So, I guess next year you guys just have to reschedule for the middle of the week.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean that Morehead City Open, that would have been the 6th year this year, right, Chad?
Yeah, that's right. Ron, what's this, our 6th year, right, buddy?
That's correct. It would have been 6 years for us this year. Proud of that, proud of where it has been, where it continues to go. Looking with the hardest thing in the world to do was to cancel that event this past weekend. It's something that a lot of teams looked forward to. We worked very hard to do, but unfortunately, the good Lord did not want to give us the weather we needed.
Yeah, that's tough. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this would have been the largest field you guys had at 75 boats, right?
Correct. We had gone from 65 last year and jumped to 75 this year. Would have had the largest payout that we've had. We were planning to pay out the entry fee would have been $375,000, but our scheduled payout was over $381,000, not counting the juniors, seniors, and ladies stuff. Had a fun ladies event scheduled for any of the ladies that weren't fishing. I have to give all the credit in the world to Michelle Shingleton, Chad's wife. It was going to be a great event, not just a fishing tournament, but an event, I think.
Yeah, it's disappointing that y'all could pull it off and pull it together. And with all the tournaments stacked on top of each other, this month, I mean, we got 5 or 6 coming up back to back to back. I know it's hard. You guys were trying to reschedule, trying to figure out a plan. I know I chatted with Chad about it, but definitely hard to do, this time of year. So.
Yeah,
it's definitely hard to do. It's definitely hard to do. It's unfortunate, especially with like my wife puts a lot of time and effort. She was devastated, unfortunately, to cancel it. And, we have shirts sitting in the garage. There's a lot of things that go into it, pre-planning, a lot of time and hours spent to make this event special for all the teams involved. And when you put a lot of passion in it, you hate to see it not go forward. I mean, that's a part of it. It will be just as good the next year. And just like with any tournaments, Ron will talk about, possibly, we're talking about setting some dates for next year, pre-planning, because logistically, John, we can pull a tournament off. Fortunately, we've got the We've got the manpower to make it happen, but you still got to keep the show, and you've got to respect people's times for traveling and things. These are big tournaments, big entry fees. People put a lot of time in traveling, so there's so many other aspects that are involved other than just making it happen.
Yeah. I mean, I know you guys were pulling boats from Florida and South Carolina, and a little bit everywhere. It wasn't just local teams, so that's awesome.
It's one of those that, yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, no, I was just saying. Fortunately, the weather gods, when Ron and us, we were able to make the call. It stayed nasty because it was 100% the weatherman nailed it. I mean, there wasn't any day that was like, we could have fished this day. So thankfully, it stayed the same.
No, there were no questions whatsoever that I don't think anybody in their right mind wanted to be on a boat on any of the available days. If you were in Morehead City or during that time frame, it was rather ugly.
Yeah, well, all the hard work Chad mentioned, everything that kind of goes into it, right? With him and the family and all you guys, all the time and effort you put into it, the sponsors too, right? That's an opportunity for them to show off, and you guys got some big ones for that with Front Runner and Mercury Marine. So it's kind of disappointing to not be able to show off their products, at the event.
That's one of the hardest things is, we were going to have test rods available and a 36 Front Runner powered by Mercury 400Rs, Trip 400Rs. We had a new 37 Front Runner Cat with quad 425s. The new Mercury 425s was going to be available for demo rods as well. We try to do everything we can to promote our sponsors, as every tournament does. And it's hard. Because you want to do the best for them and some of the other sponsors that really help us a lot. EJW and what they do as being, for our youth and our senior angler sponsor, and then what Gina Lemons and Robbie Lemons do to help us out. All of the sponsors, Scott Parsons and doing what he does through King Mackerel Tackle. What Jonathan does for us through Tractor Country, Jonathan Macklin. Just there's so many great ones. Donna Gerganis and First Bank, R.A. Hitch, Chris Mintz. There's just many sponsors, and I know I'm missing some, but I just want to mention a few that really do so much for us. And it's hard. You do what you can do, but if we had said, okay, yeah, you could fish the beach in a northeast blow. That's not what we want to do this tournament about. This tournament's about being able to go and do and keeping teams safe. So the only right thing to do was cancel.
No doubt. And obviously we weren't fishing, but no doubt in my mind that you guys made the right call there. That weather was just completely unfishable in my opinion. So, and I know I talked to a number of teams that were fishing and they agreed. So, hey, get it together for next year, and I'm sure it'll be even bigger and better, right?
And mentioning next year, we're looking at, and nothing is set in stone, but of course we're looking at adding an alternate date where teams can plan, and that's the hard part. Is teams coming up, like you mentioned, John, coming up from South Carolina, coming up from Florida, Georgia, all up and down the coast. Just to go and throw a date out there, and us being a set entry, number of boats, we've got to put the show on. That's not it. Yes, it is about fishing, but it is about a show. It's about taking care of the families. Like I was saying, that Michelle had planned events for the ladies. We had a great band that was going to be there. The I-42 band was going to play for us at the captain's meeting. It's about fishing, but it's about fun and camaraderie and just all of the above. That's why we do these things. But it is about having fun and staying safe too. So.
No, 100%. Chad, you got anything else you want to add about the Open there?
Yeah, someone had mentioned, with those kind of payouts, we should have had it, and believe us. I mean, we wanted to have this thing, and it's easy, and no ill will toward anybody. It's easy to sit on the sidelines and say, well, we should have done this, we should have done that, and we nobody loves it just as much as I do, or Ron, or anybody else that's putting it on. And just trying to put in perspective 75 teams, 75 Carteret County local teams. Sure, maybe we try it again, but these people put in for vacations, and not everyone is self-employed. There's just a lot of other things that go into it, and we always try to put all 75 teams in their best interest. That goes for the shootout, everything.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the caliber of that event, man. That's a hard one to run with another event piggybacked, right? With one of the shootouts, or something along those lines. It doesn't do that justice, in my opinion. So, listen, again, I feel like you guys made the right call there, and I know a lot of teams agree. So, but we got a busy schedule coming up, right? A lot of guys are getting ready this week for the Swansboro 5-0. Got a number of teams, getting ready to fish that, and looks like the weather Friday may be a little, definitely fishable. And then Saturday looks like it's actually going to be a really nice day. So, hopefully the guys fishing that are safe, and I'm definitely planning on going down to Swansboro and watching the weigh-in, Friday night, and seeing what's coming to the scales, and who's going to take home a check there.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Hey, for everybody fishing, I hope it stays safe, and that they have good fishing. You go and spend the money and go, and you want to have it. It's the time of the year that North Carolina shines. We have what an incredible fishery all around. And especially on up the beach up there off of Hatteras and Ocracoke. Let's hope it's great for those guys.
Yeah, well, right before the blow, I mean, there was a couple good fish caught, just on the east side, and I think there were some fish even on this side. So, hopefully that blow hadn't scared them offshore, and the teams there will be able to find them, and I think you'll see some good fish this weekend. I do believe.
Yeah, John, and I'll just share this real quick. I had a few teams, of course, before we had to make, or after we made the call with Wednesday before the tournament. Unfortunately, that was not an option to fish on Wednesday for us. There were some pictures that I received of some really nice fish of some guys pre-fishing and having fun. Just went fishing, and that was really hard not to go fishing, but it was the right call. But let's hope that those guys can find those fish in this coming weekend.
Yeah, I have no doubt. So, and right after the 5-0, leg 3 of the shootout, you guys get to final chance for the North teams to qualify. That should be another really good event. Hopefully the weather holds off on that, and you guys, that's going to be piggyback with the Troopers. Is that not, Chad?
Yes, that's right. Al would typically be with Morehead City Open and us and Ron and stuff, and Al, but they do a great job, the Troopers and stuff. So they're just going to jump on with us for our leg 3 there at Big Rock Landing. Their fishing times will be the same as ours. They'll fall under the same guidelines and stuff as what the shootout is doing. So yeah, definitely it's nice to help those guys out 100%, to help Al and his team. And they'll have their captains meeting with us on Thursday night. They may open their registration up a little earlier, where we typically will be at 6. I think Al maybe mentioned they would do starting at 4 or 5 o'clock on Thursday. So yeah, that we're looking forward to that. And talking about Swansboro this coming up weekend, we had the U.S. Open that got blew out 2 weekends ago. Morehead City Open just got blown out, and it's looking like the Swansboro. Fortunately, they'll have them and hopefully have good fishing. We also have a Southern tournament, the Rumble, Mickey Thompson's tournament there at Sportsman's Choice. he's got some steaks hitting the grill on Thursday night for his event. So there's a lot of things happening. And if you don't mind me mentioning, possibly next year, just to kind of get this in the forefront of everybody, we try our best not to jump on other events. I mean, but man, golly, guys, we look at the schedule just like with U.S. Open move. Now we've got the Classic Championship, the U.S. Open, and the Fall Brawl on one weekend. And unfortunately, there's just not enough weekends in October to pull it all off. So, going forward, we'll make adjustments. We may, this may have to not make some people happy, but we may have to move a tournament on to the U.S. Open, like a shootout tournament or something, just for the simple reason we can get more, just to get more, to have more weekends that we can use.
Yeah. I mean, I know there's a number of teams that fish the U.S. Open and go down there, and I know Sheila Burton put a comment about not getting reimbursed for hotel rooms and things like that when tournaments are canceled. It's a shame that some don't make a call sooner. But like you mentioned earlier, Chad, it's some make a call quickly, and then it winds up the forecast changes and it turns out to be fishable, and you're darned if you do and darned if you don't, right? So, I mean, I certainly get that, that concern, but, that's kind of just part of, what we're doing, right? So, yeah, right. I mean, following the Troopers, and you got the Classic Championship. So, I guess before we get to that, I mean, the last time we spoke was right before the Emerald Isle tournament.
What a leaderboard they had. With what the Emerald Isle tournament put off, and I think it was over 100 boats in their event. I mean, it just blew us away. Obviously, the weather was good. The weather always helps participation. We've got 60, just like the 5-0. They got 50, and we got 60 or 75 knuckleheads that's going to do it, regardless of what the weather is. But when you talk Emerald Isle and you talk about the Classic Series, you got to have the Lord for you on the weather side to get those. And Wheeling and Reeling, the top finishing Classic boat would have qualified for the championship if not done so with points. And Wheeling and Reeling not only was the top finishing Classic boat, they won the whole tournament with like a 43 and something, and I think a 41 was in second. So the West Side fishing has been phenomenal. Look at Rugman's win with the Classic. They would have beat the shootout guys that were all on the east side and up at Hatteras, and Rugman pulled in a 50. The West Side has had some great fishing, and it's so good to see it too. I mean, it's just so good to see that. And we're hoping this championship, we're taking the 45 top teams. We ended up with 90 teams in the Classic this year. So taking 45 teams to the championship. We'll have a nice dinner for the guys on Thursday at Southern Salt. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Saturday is our optimal fish day. And Friday and Sunday are options as well. Sunday would be our second. Friday's going to be the last of the three. But, just exciting. And like I said, we got a lot of weekends we got to have some good weather for.
Yeah. Well, and actually, I had that jotted down on my notes. So I saw on the website, it said the captain's meeting for the Classic Championship was the 31st, right? Friday night, Halloween. And so is it Thursday or Friday?
We just for this event being, we sent it out on Facebook and stuff, and I got to get, just getting the web guy to catch up because he don't know unless we tell him, of course. So, but the captain's meet will be on Thursday night, just for the simple reason this is a special event. I mean, these teams have worked hard. We'll give them a day Friday. Hopefully the weather's good all 3 days and fish Saturday, but get there, have a nice dinner. Don't need to rush it. And, just to congratulate the guys on a season against 90 good teams and not have to rush it. It's hard putting everything together Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, it was 89 good
to take it in.
We couldn't buy a fish all year, so.
John, I know
you got hot there at the end.
Yeah. One bite, we almost had to donate a rod for it. So
you got to have that first one. You got to have that first one before you can get the second one.
Well, although we didn't qualify, we were, Seth and I were fortunate enough to get a phone call from a good friend, and he invited us to fish the championship with those guys, and so we're looking forward to that and jumping on board their boat and learning from them, and we're excited to fish it for sure. So should be a good day, hopefully. So.
Absolutely. The fishing last year at the Northwest places was just absolutely phenomenal the week prior to our shootout championship. And man, if we could get a bite like that, and if it's 25, 30 pounders, who cares? I mean, that was just a great bite. And 50s are great, but a win's a win. If it takes a 20 to win it, then that's what it takes.
Best fish of the day.
The biggest fish of the weekend wins it, no matter what it is.
That's right. And we'll be with the shootout. I'm sorry, with the classic stuff, guys. I did have some folks reach out about are we going to do TWTs? Absolutely, we'll have TWTs, but the top 45 teams are guaranteed to fish for guaranteed 10,000 first place, and then 3,000 and 2,000 for second. Second would be 3,000, and third would be 2,000. You're guaranteed to fish for that money just for qualifying. It don't cost you anything to fish for that. But there will be other TWTs as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this year was great. We had good weather for all the events, really. I don't recall it being rough for any of them. A little bit of rain in the last one, but for the most part it stayed away until right at the end of the day. But that was it was a lot of fun this year fishing for sure. So, and then
absolutely.
Following the Classic Championship, then you got the Shootout Championship. So you got 30 teams from the South coming up, and going to go against 30 from the North, and that's always a good time, always a great weigh-in. Always lots of a lot of fish coming in for that one, and it's again that's looks like November 5th through the 9th is what I've got down here, Chad. So the weekend right after Halloween, and I'm sure the fishing will stay hot, and teams will, it'll be very interesting to see what wins that.
Absolutely. It's fun, Ron. I mean, it's fun to be a part of. It's fun to be in the society. It's obviously a lot more fun to qualify and be there and not have to be that guy that shakes everybody's hand and says, "Hey, good job. I didn't fish. We stink this year," But fortunately for I get it, man. Fortunately for us, we got blessed with not one but two good fish, and I do want to hit something real quick, because somebody had texted me about that question about, moving the events. By no means do I take any offense to anybody ever asking us any questions about, hey, what do you think about this and that? It's all about presentation. And this guy that asked that, by no means was I bothered or didn't think he was being a butthead or any bit. I just, we don't mind conversation. That's what this is about. This isn't Chad's. This isn't Ron's. This isn't anything. It's ours. And we just try to make the best decision as possible. So, there's never any hard feelings with somebody to just, hey, man, what do you think? And that's what we built with these tournaments.
And that was the point. One point I'd like to make is all of this is about the fishermen. It's all for the fishermen. The way I like to put it is by fishermen for fishermen. It's what we love to do. It's not, that we're not out here making money. We're not making any money, as a matter of fact. It's just about putting on the best event that we can. So, and having fun. So, but it's just lucky to be a part of it. And John, like you say, let's hope that we still have to have a good fish coming up in the last shootout event to qualify, because I've been on that sideline looking. It ain't fun.
Yeah.
What do you got? Trucks going by there, Chad?
It's the Amazon guy.
No, the dirt Rigger's over here. He's about jumped on the door. Look, Mama's in Moorhead, so me and the boy are having to do some Uber Eats, because like John, he was catching bluefish and shad for the Rumble this weekend, and out there trout fishing. And at 7:30, I'm like, "Well, we better get home." So we called Shell, and Shell ordered us drop off some food for us.
That's funny. Hey, just saw a comment from Sheila. No, Sheila, absolutely, we don't take that as negative. We completely understand. I know I certainly do. Listen, you can't control it. It's been something that we've been dealing with for years as tournament fishermen, and I know you and Randy have as well. So hopefully they'll and maybe she's got a point, Chad. Maybe we'd find a spot on the shootout website with folks that are with Airbnbs or things like that for places people that want to rent a house or a room or a dock or something, and if a tournament gets canceled, they're not going to hold your feet to the fire and hang on to the to the fees or whatever, because I know with the I've heard a couple of people down at the U.S. Open that kind of got caught holding the bag that couldn't fish the event, and they still had to come out and pay because they couldn't cancel in time.
Right. And that's one of the things that we try to do to let teams know. Like we called this on Tuesday. Ron, they called it on Tuesday to try to give these teams, because it used to be a 48-hour cancellation. Some places are 24 hours. And going forward as tournament committee members, do we reach out to these places where most people stay? I don't know, because I feel that I feel that pain. Fortunately, we might have family at Atlantic Beach, so when we go there, it's if we go or don't go, it doesn't matter. But that's why we try our best to make these calls as early as we can to keep those things from happening. Because believe you me, Sheila, I feel it, and that's everything we're trying to put in our mind when these things happen.
I can promise you none of these decisions are taken lightly. That night before on Monday night, and I was actually sitting in an airport when I had to make the final call, having to do a business trip. It was on Monday actually, and I hardly slept that night before. Just what do you do? What do you do? And you're worried. I mean, teams, I know there are teams that had spent money to rent houses to do stuff, and I'm not sure if they get their money back, but we try to do everything humanly possible to make the best call to help teams out. It's not perfect for everybody, but we try to take it as the best we can do. And I do, as you were saying with Sheila, and I appreciate the texts, the phone calls, the emails. You want to do the best you can, and there's sometimes you don't consider everything, and somebody might send you a message or something that helps you look at another option or something that helps out and makes it easier. So I appreciate them, at least. And I think, Chad, you do too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, does anybody have any questions in the chat? We're here. Sheila, looks like it was a VRBO, and that's where they were having some trouble. So yeah, it's disappointing, unfortunately. Again, maybe we can get a list together of people that have those local folks, and instead of having to go through the VRBO, you go right to them, and know you'll get taken care of moving forward in upcoming events, right? So Chad, you and I chatted before we got on here, man. I think we'd be a little remiss not to remember Mr. Jody Gay. As we saw a post earlier that it was been a year ago since he passed, and I certainly didn't know Jody as well as you guys did, but man, that man was always smiling, always willing to help. Just have very fond memories of him, as I know most folks do.
He was one of the main reasons that the Morehead City Open is happening right now. To say we lost an icon in the industry is, I don't think, an understatement or overstatement at all. He was just incredible man that, it was hard. I very unfortunately remember last year how hard a day it was when we lost him. So yeah.
There was a lot of when Jody left us obviously, unfortunately. But there was a group of guys around him, and I'm sure today they still feel the effects of this. But if that situation didn't make us even closer as a fishing community, I mean, Jody did that, and you try to look at the positives of anything. The boys that were with him that day that did everything they could. I mean, it was just unbelievable, and to be a part of such an organization, whereas you have that. Um, when you can look at the positive sides, that's the positive sides, and that would make Jody smile that this still is going on. The legacy, the camaraderie, the family. I've hugged more fishermen this year. I try to hug them every year, but I've hugged more this year since that, and I do feel like it makes us tighter. And I think that's all because of God and His timing and the way things go. And I think Jody's smiling down for that reason as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's anybody out there that couldn't say they were everybody was happy to know Jody for sure. So like I said, I didn't know him as well as you guys did, but certainly glad I did and had quite a few interactions with him. So over the years, dating back to Biloxi back in the early 2000s. So, but like I said, we'll roll over to the chat. And if anybody's got anything, feel free to throw it in there. Ron, you got anything else you want to hit on?
No, just again, I want to say thank you all very much for having me on tonight. Again, we don't take decisions like this past weekend lightly. I really appreciate all the fishermen that support the Morehead City Open. I'd have never thought we could have done this tournament. But when I say never thought, I just didn't know that it could be what it has become. Who knows where it'll end up in the future? We're going to continue to see if it doesn't just grow, prosper. Wow, we're at 75 teams, great number to keep. Who knows? We, as a committee, we have a great committee that looks at and will continue to look at changes, positive things that make it a better event for everybody. And thank you again for having me on, John, Chad.
Yeah, no, listen, I appreciate you guys letting me be a part of this. So, Chad, anything you want to throw in there?
Well, I hope that we can get back together. I appreciate first, John. John's got a new platform working here, and I think he said I looked a little grainy, but it might be my service. But I think this has gone great, and I really appreciate what you've done, and I'm glad that we've got the platform set back up, and I'm hoping that we get back on our 2 weeks, and we got like I said, this weekend you got the 5-0, we got the Rumble. The next weekend will be the Classic Championship. So the next Monday, man, I'd love to make sure we get back on there and hit it right before the week of the championship. And hopefully we're talking about there'll be a lot of money paid out. And I hope some good fishing that's leading up to this for sure. So,
yeah. Well, like I said in the, we put the post up, man, it's going to be a busy rest of the month. And, it should be, I think you're going to see some pretty incredible leaderboards, and the fishing's been really, really good. So as long as we can get the weather to cooperate, I really, I'm really excited to see what's coming down. The scales here as we roll through October and into November.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be a lot of things settled. I mean, we got Team of the Year standings where the championship will solve that for Classic. We've got Team of the Year standings going to be settled in the shootout. We got the Anglers Envy Cup that somebody's going to have a $15,000 scholarship from Kevin Knox. I mean, all these things are the excitement that lead up into having these events and making these things happen for people because of people that we are, that are just affiliated in this with all of this fishing. And man, to be able to that's so exciting to have those things. And finally, Carson was talking junk to me today because he said, well, maybe I have a chance now that we didn't stink it up so bad, but we still got to do good in leg 3. So.
You guys, I'm sure you'll be just fine. So, all right. Well, gentlemen, we appreciate it. And everybody that joined, thank you so much for hanging around with us for the last 30 minutes. And look forward to seeing everybody here and, this weekend and next. And, should be exciting coming up. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, guys.
Congrats. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everybody.